Hello, my name is Daryl Thompson, and today I'm giving you an advanced lesson on the guitar solo in This Love by Planetshakers. And there's going to be a special focus on your legato technique. Alright, to make this video easier for you to process, because not everybody watching this video is at the same level in the guitar playing, I've created chapters in the description below where you can just go directly to where you want to go in this video if you click on it. Also, I have played a version of this guitar solo. I've covered the solo myself, and you'll find at the top of the screen now there's a link to that video. Also, this solo requires some pretty advanced left hand or guitar fretting technique. So if you need help with your guitar fretting hand technique, I've created a video on that technique, and that's coming up on the screen at the moment as well. Otherwise, let's get stuck into the video. Alright, welcome to the section of this video where I take you through the solo one note at a time. You'll find that the tablature is on the screen, so this will help you with what you're doing. Some guidelines as to how to learn the solo. I've split the solo into 3 sections. Tackle each section one at a time, master each section, and then as you've mastered all 3, put them together. Now the solo is at 185 beats per minute. It's pretty quick. And so what I recommend you do is that as you learn each section, develop your hand so that it actually goes to the notes without you thinking about it. You don't have time to think about putting your fingers in certain places. Make sure that your fingers go there without you thinking about it. If you have to think about it, you'll never get up to speed. And then, let's get stuck into the solo. So what happens is, as we start, just before the solo, in fact, and I find that many people miss this part, is you've got this, which is just a quick introduction, and then we go to a section that's kind of like the intro to the Michael Jackson song Beat It, which is based on this. Technique-wise, what you're doing is you're covering the entire fretboard with your hand. Your thumb is muting the lower strings, the E, A, and D. Your first finger is muting the upper strings, but what you're doing is you're fretting the 10th fret, the G and B strings at the 10th fret. So what you do is you have all these, can you hear only 2 of those strings are ringing as I go through the entire, and then I will fret with my 3rd finger on the 12th fret of the D string. Then that comes to the first legato piece that we have, which you have the tab 4 at the bottom. Now the reason why I play these 2 notes, because remember we started with these 2 notes. If you listen to it, it is the exact same 2 notes. I've seen other people cover this solo and they're playing these 2 notes instead, which isn't correct. You want to be playing these 2. And remember, this is in triplets time: 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 1 to 2 to. Then we go back to the first part that we played, which is that Michael Jackson. And again. So that's section 1. Get that down. Then we have section 2, which is this. Again, it's legato, which I encourage you. You need to keep your fingers loose. This is your fingers flailing in the air almost, but kind of this. You're going to be hitting your fingers on the fretboard at specific places. So there's flailing, and there's also very what is the word? I'm trying to think of the word. A very determined outcome to where those fingers go. So here we go. Now what I did when I learned this solo is I made sure to get my right hand and my left hand synchronized. I just went over this part again and again. Now it's tough to play slow. So what I did is I made sure that I was staying loose, because your hand gets tired quickly if you're not loose. And I just made sure that my right hand and my left hand were synchronized now. Which takes us on to section 3. And that's another legato piece. Now, to help us with this, you want to keep your hand parallel to the fretboard of the guitar, and I'll explain why. Your 3rd and your 4th fingers are intertwined. The nerves are intertwined leading to these fingers. So you will find, and from experience you'll know this, that it's difficult to move these fingers independently of each other. So if you had to play with your hand at an angle like this. As you get up to the top here, you're having to stretch your third finger to get to the top there, which is bad enough. On top of that, your fourth finger is kind of trying to follow. It's having to follow, but there's a lot of pressure put on it to follow because of the angle that it's at. And you'll find that you get a lot of tension in this part of your hand. So you want to avoid that. And you do that by making sure that your hand is as parallel to the fretboard as possible. So watch as I do this part. And that's the guitar solo. So let's move on to the next section of this video. Welcome to the section of this video where we play through the solo slowly, 120 beats per minute. Now, as I've said in other sections, the song is actually at 185 beats per minute. So something that will help you to get to that is to play it at 120 beats per minute to start with, get your fingers around this, and actually record yourself, video record yourself and audio record yourself, and then listen to the recording. What you're listening for is the fact that you can hear yourself playing in time. Each of these notes is landing on the metronome. It's landing where it should be. It's not too far ahead, not too far behind. What you're also looking for is the fact that your hands look good. You're making sure that you positioned your fingers correctly, that you've got your hand, your palm parallel to the fretboard of the guitar neck as much as is possible. And then once you see that these things are done, and you've got as little tension as your hand in your hand as possible, you can then bump it up by 5 beats per minute. So you go to 125 or 130, 135, etc., all the way till you get to 185. That's the way I tackle this guitar solo. By the time you get to 185 beats per minute, your fingers know this solo so well that they go to where they need to go on their own, and that's what you want. So here we go. Great, so apply all these principles that I've given you, bump up the speed by 5 beats per minute, make sure that there's very little tension, that your hand is positioned correctly, that you're staying loose, because what happens is if you go faster too quickly without making sure that these techniques are built into your body, you will have incorrect technique when you play faster, which means you're going to hurt yourself in the end. So something else that helped me while I was learning this is these notes are very quick. It's hard to distinguish one note from another. It's hard to distinguish how that note is being played. Is it being slid up to? Is it being bent up to? What kind of vibrato has been applied? So the great thing is that on YouTube there is an option to slow down the song. If you go to the little cog at the bottom of the video settings, you can slow down the video, which means you can hear each note individually and very clearly. It's at pitch. I mean, it doesn't sound amazing, but it's at pitch, which means you can hear the note that's being played and played as close to the original as possible. So that is the video. I hope this has helped you, and I hope that this makes you a better guitarist, and I'll see you next time.